We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
You have fun. Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you.
Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV. And this is Thursday, which means morning news update with our friend Pete Wilson. And that is brought to you by our friend Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. And if you're looking to buy or sell or have any real estate issues or questions or needs, give Nia a call, 740-418-4135, and she'll work hard for you, as she does everyone.
All right. Well, very good.
So Pete,
that's a given. We don't lie about
no,
that.
we don't tell lies about
no,
Nia.
we don't like to lie about anything.
Well,
but
no.
when we say Nia is hardworking, I mean, that's about as
I don't know
straightforward as you can get.
Yes, I'm not sure that anybody could argue that.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So we did a lot of fun kind of like Christmassy news on Monday and talked about the weekend and a lot of neat things that had happened. So I don't know what you have in store for us today.
Okay, well, I tell you what, it's kind of standard. We've got good stuff and we've got bad stuff.
I figured.
A variety. And we're going to start off with what has really grabbed the attention of a lot of the county this week, and that is the unexpected and tragic death of paramedic EMS supervisor Ryan Foster.
Yes.
Now, I know Ryan's
Bless his
parents
heart.
very well. Larry,
Yes.
who is the general manager of the Jackson County Water Company, graduated a year ahead of me at Jackson High School. Ryan's mother, Peggy, did graduate with me in 1973 at Jackson High School, and so I know them very well. I did not know personally, anyway, Ryan that well, but
Boy, a lot of people did.
a lot of people did. In the last couple of days, I have come to learn what his position, not only about his professional competence and his standing with his peers and colleagues, but how they felt about him as a person and how people out in the county felt about him who crossed his path. Obviously, highly beloved and respected young man who, if we can go back to the root of this, medical emergency. This is natural causes, but died as a result of a medical emergency up at Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center on Tuesday. Very unexpected, out of nowhere. 35 years old, husband, father of two young boys, and of course, all those people that he knows through his work at Jackson County EMS. He was also a firefighter, first with the Liberty Township Fire Department and more recently with the Madison Jefferson Fire Department. And they wanted us to use our total media platforms to let people know that some of the arrangements for Ryan. They are out now officially. His obituary is online here at the telegramnews.com.
Yes.
Will, of course, be in our print edition on Saturday. It's also, I'm sure, on the Lewis and Gillum website as well. And that obituary has been shared many times on Facebook. But the calling hours are going to be 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Lewis and Gillum Funeral Home in Oak Hill. And the funeral will be at 1 p.m. Saturday at Oak Hill High School. That, of course, will accommodate more people.
Sure.
Now, Ryan was from the Jackson area, Liberty Township, graduated from Jackson High School. But in his EMS career, he became the station chief at Oak Hill, worked out of that station a lot. I know that they worked at Antar County. You go where you're needed, but he was the station chief at Oak Hill, and he and his family lived in the Oak Hill area, and so that is why the funeral is down there. Here is how you can show, even if you didn't know Ryan, but you just want to salute his life and what he meant to Jackson County, what he gave to all of us. Here is how you can do that. The family would very much appreciate this. I know his colleagues would appreciate it as well. He's going to be buried at Horeb Cemetery, which is a couple of miles west of Oak Hill on 279. You go out west of Oak Hill, past Jackson Lake, and then, the cemetery is not too far past there. Anyway, obviously the funeral escort to the cemetery is going to come through Oak Hill. They're on State Route 93, Front Street. They are asking people, if they would like to do this, or they're willing to do this, to stand alongside and salute, stand a vigil there. As the funeral procession passes.
Nice.
I'm sure there's going to be some people that were involved with him and knew him very well that are planning to do that, who may not be in the procession. But the general public is welcome to do it. Don't be shy about doing it. They would.
Well, it's very encouraged.
This would give some strength to the family.
Sure.
I mean, they have put out the word on this, so it is all right. So I'm guessing that would be sometime after 1:30. No later than 2, somewhere around in there, just along there where the city building is, the shopping center there, the supermarket, the Piggly Wiggly, all through the village of Oak Hill before you turn on 279 west.
Okay.
Anywhere along there would be fine. You're welcome to do that. Of course, Jennifer, his body was brought back from Columbus on Tuesday, and it was quite something, I'll tell you.
I was driving to Columbus Tuesday after the morning show and passed them up above Chillicothe, and it was very emotional.
It sure was.
Very emotional.
And
Dylan, could you get the door, please? Thanks.
Yeah, Dylan has put up a photo there of the procession, which of course included all emergency service personnel in Jackson County going past the courthouse. You see, there were quite a few courthouse employees who were outside, and some other county staffers and members of the public who knew about this. These are some of the emergency service vehicles that were in that procession from Columbus back to Jackson County that were parked in front of the Lewis Gillum Funeral Home in Jackson. At the end of that escort back to Jackson. And I'm telling you, Jennifer, I think that every fire department in Jackson County was represented. Of course, many of the EMS ambulances, EMA, Jackson County Sheriff Ted Frazier led it, other law enforcement agencies, all of them, Wellston, Jackson, Oak Hill, were all represented in that escort.
I even saw highway patrol cars.
Oh, yes, Ohio State Highway Patrol as well.
Processions.
And I think it started back there on the outskirts of Columbus where 23 hits 270, and they had the support and assistance of all the law enforcement coming back on 23 and 35, which would include several sheriff's offices.
A lot of counties.
Right, the Franklin County Sheriff, the Pickaway County Sheriff, the Ross County Sheriff, South Bloomfield Police Department comes right through that little town in Pickaway County. All the people that were involved in that organized it, that put together, of course, at short notice. It was they really appreciate everybody helping on the traffic situation there and standing at respect as it passed by and like that. It really meant a lot, and all the participation that was involved there shows you the standing that Ryan Foster had. I mean, it just wasn't
very much.
It just wasn't that. I mean, the tragedy of a young man dying at age 35, totally unexpected. It was the kind of person he was, and what he meant to those around him, his coworkers, his family members, his friends. He is just extremely well-liked young man.
I think the Facebook, the heartfelt tributes that you see everywhere can certainly be testimony to the person that he was. 'Cause
It's
there's
really
a
something.
lot of folks taking time to write personal messages.
Right, and they have posted that to his Facebook page. Some of that you can see that if you would like on Facebook. Also, people are commenting on stories that we had in the paper on this so far.
Sure.
There are probably some things on the obituary as well. But I tell you what, some people, they're smart people, but they don't necessarily have to write a lot. But the humanity and the heartfelt sentiments that people were able to express publicly. I know that isn't easy to do.
Yes.
And I do that kind of for a living, and to see those people put themselves out there like that, it was just out of the tremendous love that they have for their friend and coworker who has died. Ryan was a Liberty Township firefighter initially, because his grandfather, Bob Rice, was, of course, the founder of the Liberty Township Fire Department, its chief for many years. His dad, Larry, of course, is still on the Liberty Township Fire Department. Later on, he went to the Madison Jefferson Fire Department. Ryan did when he moved to Oak Hill, but he retained his firefighter status because that meant a lot to him, too. And remember, that's a volunteer thing.
Yes.
As an EMS person, in addition to being first an EMT in 2007, that's at the age of 19 or 20. So he knew what he wanted to do right out of the chute. He wanted to help people.
Yeah.
When they need it the most, obviously.
Yes.
And some of the posts, and this was repeated a number of times, they feel that over his career, even though, it was cut short abruptly, he saved the lives of many people with what he did as a paramedic.
Yep.
He became the station chief at Oak Hill, and more recently was a supervisor. And Jackson County EMS Director Chris Johnson has given him great credit for making improvements there in the last several years, and working on some even at the time of his death. I know as a paramedic, he was still out in the field, so I'm doing some of that work. Dylan, do we have that picture of the family there that you could put up? Okay, there, if you hadn't seen Ryan, that is Ryan with his family there. That is his young wife, Ashley, and his two sons, Weston and Quentin. And I do know, this was not in the obituary, but I have confirmed it from a good friend, that there is going to be a scholarship fund, that is going to be established, of course, to help, those young boys when they get to the age of, it's time to go to college or career school or whatever, to help them, because obviously this is something that, this young family could not have planned for or expected or whatever.
Not at all.
And I tell you what, I've just been doing this for so long, Jennifer, and I've seen it repeated many times, and this is certainly one of the top times examples of how a small town, a community, and a county can come together in the worst of times.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody just wrapped their loving arms around this young man and his family, and that includes people who maybe knew the name, knew the family, but they didn't necessarily know him, but they know how hard this must be.
Yep.
But anyway, we will have in our Saturday paper, we're working on that right now, kind of like a tribute to Ryan Foster. We're going to have comments from Chris Johnson, the Jackson County EMS Director, from Brittany Reed, representing the Liberty Township Fire Department, from Robert Chesleski, the Jackson County Emergency Management Agency Director, and Daniel Parker, who was a partner with him on the EMS at Oak Hill and is also a Madison Jefferson firefighter. And some of these things have not been on Facebook. You'll be seeing them for the first time. They were ones that we asked for and that we received. And I tell you, every one of them, is moving. They truly are. So that is something, that we'll have out online maybe later tonight, or certainly no later than tomorrow. Once again, calling hours for Ryan Foster, 2 to 8 p.m. at the Lewis and Gillen Funeral Home in Oak Hill. And then the funeral at 1 p.m. Saturday at Oak Hill High School. Escort to Horeb Cemetery. General public invited to stand alongside the road there in Oak Hill as the funeral escort passes. Just another way to salute a young man who gave back so much.
He did.
To where he lived.
Yes.
All right. Well, as sad as all that is, there was also some good news that we can bounce that with. And this was major. I know you get kind of cold to it because there's lots of grant money and federal and state money flowing, whatever. Economic development is an ongoing thing.
It is.
But this was humongous. Yesterday it was announced A $40 million expansion is in the works at our own Bellisio Foods plant here in Jackson. $40 million.
Well, they just did a big expansion.
Right, they
That's
did.
crazy, but great.
They did. Of course, the Bellisio Foods plant, if you don't know, down on East Broadway Street at 100 East Broadway, along with General Mills, the biggest employer in the county. Approximately 1,000 people work there now. And there's going to be 177 new jobs that are coming with this expansion.
Wow.
Now, I'm not sure about physical expansion as far as, building another building or expanding that way, but it is labeled as an expansion because they're going to do more things within the walls that they have. The new investment will allow for, this is from the release from the Ohio SE, which is the regional arm of Jobs Ohio.
Yes.
The new investment will allow for building upgrades to the production facility, for new equipment, for building rehabilitation, a new daycare center, and the creation of an on-site counseling center. So once again, $40 million.
Wow.
None of this is local tax money or anything. It's support coming from the development arms at the state, the region, and of course, I know that Jackson County Economic Development Partnership, Sam Brady, very much in on this, helping
Sure.
to make it happen as well. And I know Jackson Mayor Randy Evans. This was a state level thing, but I know that he feels, and this is also a credit to not only him but his predecessors. Jackson has the utility base to be able to handle this.
Yeah, and that's a huge deal.
I mean, it's a behind the scenes thing, but if your water and your sewer systems and your electricity isn't going to be able to handle it, they may look elsewhere. But in the story that we have online now, Jennifer, and it will be in our print edition on Saturday, it has comments from some of the principals involved in there, but it is very obvious that the owners of Bellisio Foods and the corporate people and the on-site people at the plant here really believe in the future of this plant here. It has been described as the flagship plant of Bellisio Foods.
Wow.
And this is more, of course,
in little old Jackson, Ohio.
right. And this is, of course, a Minnesota-based company, and they have decided that this is going to be the biggest part of their future, this plant here. So that is huge.
It
And you
is.
know something, you never know about the economy. You never know how it's going to affect projects and plants and employers. But you know what? We all got to eat.
That's right.
And they along with General Mills, as a matter of fact, among the largest frozen food plants in America.
Yeah.
And it's right here. We
Right
got two
here.
of those plants right here in Jackson. And we know, General Mills seems to be going great guns as well. This is about Bellisio, but you think back 50 years or so, I think maybe Chungking was here, but the plant up in it was not a food plant up in Wellston. When you think 50 years ago, where would we be now if we didn't have those two plants?
I know.
The whole
Yeah.
economy's changed from the hard industrial, the pig iron plants and all like that, and we've lost Meridian out there, but now we have these jobs. And with the competitive market that is out there, these are good paying jobs right now. So I know that'll be one of the big things to find people for these jobs. No timetable was given for when all this is occurring, but it's going to happen. All right. Another good news story to share comes out of MacArthur, and the Hotel MacArthur project, as well as the Vinton County Park District project, received, get this, $2.8 million from the Abandoned Mineland Economic Revitalization Program of the state of Ohio. The acronym is AMLR there, and there you see the Hotel MacArthur.
Yeah.
Right now, it looks much like it has for
a few years.
Well, for almost 200 years. I'm guessing 180 years plus. The building was built or started in 1839. That's the date they've thrown out for it. That, of course, predates the existence of Vinton County. But that building, that historic building, is right at the corner of a Main and Market in downtown MacArthur, right across from the Vinton County Courthouse. And that building was open to a degree, but a lot of it needed work. And They bought it from the former owner, and they are renovating / restoring it as a hotel, as a bar, and kind of like a trendy tourism place.
Sure.
Because the local officials in Vinton County, I know the state officials support this. They feel that the potential for tourism is high in Vinton County because it's so close to the Hocking Hills, and there's so much scenery around there. You got the Zaleski State Forest, you got Lake Hope State Park, which, I keep repeating this and people roll their eyes wondering, that can't be true. 1 million visitors a year to the Lake Hope State
it doesn't
Park.
surprise me a bit.
But this $2.85 million will be used by the Vinton County CVB. That is the local agency, Caleb
Sure.
Appleman, the executive director. This money will be used to continue with the development of the Hotel MacArthur, the renovation, the project to bring that back and open it up. It's going to take a while to do, but it looks like they're getting the money. Obviously, they've already started on some of the cosmetic work. The CVB office itself is now operating out of the hotel instead of in a downtown location. Also, some of the money is going to be used to develop the new MacArthur Park District and land just south of MacArthur off State Route 93, where the MacArthur Brick Company was. They are going to create a park / recreational area there, and some of that money will be used for that. I don't think a whole lot has been done there yet, but this is some of the money to make some things happen. The CVB established a park district to put themselves in position to be able to do things and get this money.
Okay.
So abandoned mine money, what's that got to do with the Hotel MacArthur? All right, well, here it is. Yes, some of this abandoned mine land money, and there is a lot of it, is used directly for the reclamation or the development of what used to be mine lands, and the Park District falls into that category.
Sure.
But the Abandoned Mine Land Grant Program also deals with economic development projects in areas where there have been abandoned mine lands, and we have that. We have a lot of those in southeastern Ohio,
yes.
including Vinton County. So this is a way to kind of revitalize those areas where mines were once prominent. And so that story was in our Wednesday paper. We also have it posted online as well.
Okay. Very
All right.
cool.
Okay, we're going to go to sports now.
Oh my gosh, Pete.
You know what I'm going to talk about,
I
don't you?
do. This is insane.
Oh my, what a great story. We talked about Kyan Irvin, the senior basketball player from Wellston, had such a great game, 41 points and a bunch of rebound.
And assists.
and all
I mean,
like
just
that.
all of it.
Right.
He did it all.
Well, on Tuesday, he one-upped himself. He scored 50 points in
50?
one game. 50 points. That is him not in the game on Tuesday, but another game going up for a shot there in the Rocket Blue. He scored 50 points in the Rockets' big victory over the Miller Falcons on Tuesday to establish a new single game scoring record.
50 points. So this kid has scored 91 points in two games.
In the last two games. And
insane.
yeah, it is something. He now has 1,103 career points and is sixth on the all-time scoring list. Now, we don't want to jinx him, but Scott Cheatham, who leads the list with over 1,500 points, he is within range of maybe catching Scott Cheatham this year. Now, he's got to score lots of points, but he's shown he can do that.
Well, obviously that's not an issue. So.
Right. And the good
Wow.
news, the sidebar story with this is he helped the Rockets to another victory. They haven't played very many games, but so far they've won them. So he obviously is a big part of that. Kind of like a related story to this that's neat is that he broke a record that had existed for 42 or 43 years. Let's see. No, make it 41 years. John Darrow
Yes.
of Darrow Insurance.
Yep.
His father was the basketball coach. The late John Darrow was the coach then. And John scored 49 points in a game against Vinton County. And John, of course, still lives in Wellston.
Yep.
He now owns and operates the Darrow Insurance Agency that his father had. And he's been very aware of Kyan's career. I talked with him yesterday, so we're going to have a neat story. Hopefully I can get it done for Saturday's paper about, the two of them. Because Kyan's father, Rob Irvin, who is the well-known minister of the World Outreach Ministries, he played basketball in his time. I think he graduated in 1987. He was there when John Darrow scored 49 points.
Oh, really?
Right, and
That's
now
wild.
Rob, by the way, is an assistant coach for the Rockets. So he's got a front row seat to see how well his son is doing, and he's so
Yeah.
proud of him, obviously. But John and Kyan talked about college back in the summer, because Rob knows John real well.
Yeah.
And he gave Kyan some advice about, playing his senior year in college and playing basketball in the future. And since that time, Kyan has committed to go to the University of Rio Grande. So when next year rolls around, you don't have to go very far to see this young man play.
That's right.
I'm sure the Redmen are very happy to have a young Irvin in their camp starting next year. But anyway, John sent out balloons to
That's so sweet.
celebrate, and he knew at some point somebody was going to break his record. There's been some great players, basketball players, come through Wellston. Of course, John's brother, the late Jim Darrow, had some great teams there, great players, but none of them broke John Darrow's scoring record. And Kyan was able to do that. And so John now, even though he doesn't coach, he's an insurance agent. He's very much involved in the sport. He is probably one of the most accomplished, maybe arguably the most accomplished sports official to ever come out of Jackson County. He does football, has done football, still does football, and he has done basketball. His knees don't work as well as they used to, so he doesn't officiate now, but he is a advisor to the High School Athletic Association.
Okay.
He observes officials and is involved in decisions on tournament assignments and things like that. But he is very highly thought of, and he is John. I know was as tickled as anybody to see somebody break his record.
Yep.
So
Cool.
Todd Compston has already written a story on that. He stayed up real late on Tuesday night so we could get that online. So you can read that story online, and of course it will be prominently a part of our sports pages in our Saturday print edition.
Yeah.
Okay, well, back to something not so positive. We're like a yo-yo. All right. This news release came out of the Ohio State Auditor's Office, and our associate editor, Phil Buffington, who has covered this through the court system, picked up on it. This is online as well already. It will also be in our print edition on Saturday. Cheryl Brady, former Jackson County Sheriff's Office employee.
Mm-hmm.
She is the front office clerk type person who was accused of stealing money from the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
She, on last Friday, in Jackson County Common Pleas Court, pled guilty to theft in office, a third-degree felony. She will be sentenced at a later date. We don't know what that is yet. As part of her plea, she agreed to make full restitution, including paying the audit costs. She is accused of stealing and has admitted now to stealing nearly $38,000 in fees. This was money that came into the sheriff's office from people who were getting concealed carry licenses and such.
Wow.
This is money that went through her, and $37,964 was the exact amount that the Auditor's Special Investigation Unit came up. They accused her of pocketing cash payments that were made to the sheriff's office in a period from November 2018 through October 2019. At one point, she had her bond revoked because she failed a drug test, and there has been a discussion that perhaps her crimes, and she did admit to theft in office,
Okay.
were fueled by a drug problem.
Really? Okay.
So,
It's very ironic that somebody that's works for the police, then gets themselves in trouble. I guess you don't hear about that quite
right. Well,
often.
obviously at the sheriff's office, they noticed.
Sure,
that-
it was an
that-
awkward investigation.
Yeah, I'm sure they noticed that it wasn't adding up, and they called in the professionals, and it took a while, but they
Sure.
discovered that a lot of money had been stolen. And they are saying that Cheryl Brady did it, and now Cheryl Brady is admitting, at least pleading guilty to
She did it.
theft in
Okay.
office.
Wow.
All right, we hear about this too often these days, but a threat made on social media by a student led to a lockdown at the Buckeye Hills Career Center on Tuesday.
Oh, you're kidding.
Nope, it happened. There was a social media post that was perceived as a threat. They immediately locked down the school. The student, the Gallia County Sheriff's Office was called in because the vocational school, of course, is there just west of Rio, or just north of Rio Grande there at
Okay.
Bidwell. And within an hour of after they were called, they put out another statement. They had put out a statement they were under lockdown because of a possible threat. They determined that there was no actual danger to the students because of a gun or the threat or anything. The statement from the sheriff's office, Sheriff Champlin in Gallia County, and from the superintendent of Buckeye Hills Career Center, Jamie Nash, indicated that a student from Jackson County was the source of the threat, and law enforcement was involved at the school and at the residence of that student, and they were able to say, this was the statement that Sheriff Champlin said on Tuesday morning, not long after the lockdown was initiated. My office was made aware of a social media post made Tuesday morning by a student who attends Buckeye Hills Career Center regarding a school shooting. The student who allegedly made the threat, and that's the word they used,
Okay.
was not at the school that day. However, the school was placed in a lockdown status as a precautionary measure to ensure the safety of all students. Deputies and investigators from the sheriff's office responded to the residence of the student in Jackson County and to the Career Center. The staff is currently investigating the credibility of the threat. However, they did determine all students and staff members at the Buckeye Hills Career Center campus were safe and secure, and the lockdown was ended. And Jamie Nash said, as a result, we take every threat seriously here at Buckeye Hills Career Center. Our student and staff safety is our number one priority. I am very proud of the actions taken today by our staff members in response to this threat, and we will assist the Gallia County Sheriff's Office in any way we can to make sure all parties are held accountable for threats made against our school. And of course, Jennifer, because of the nature of the case, it being a school and a juvenile involved, a lot of details don't get released. But I have noticed that it seems like more and more they are able to identify where these threats come from.
Good job, Dylan. Thank you. Oh. We don't know. Oh, that's a new one. Okay, keep going, Pete.
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
They can hear
We're
us,
having
but
a
they can't
camera.
see us, right?
Yeah, we're having a camera issue.
But we have faces for radio, not
We
television.
do.
Well,
I
I
mean,
do.
somebody's trying to tell us
I shouldn't
something.
say that. I shouldn't say that about the horse queen.
No. But no, you're right. I mean, with technology the way that it is, Pete, it's, it used to be you could call something in from a payphone and no one ever knew what the heck was going on. But a little bit different nowadays.
Yeah, they seem to be able to trace these things a little bit better than they used to. It used to be a very frustrating thing because a lot of times maybe it was just an irresponsible thing that somebody was doing. I won't say for a joke, but to be malicious or whatever. And there was really no threat involved as far as someone having a weapon or really wanting to do something physical or violent to somebody. But it was just a way to cause havoc and get attention.
Yes,
Not
absolutely.
directly, of course. You don't want that kind of attention directly, but just
Dylan.
to cause a stir.
Sorry, James is sending us messages as to what to do.
All right. Well, very good. Then another story that we want to report on. Oh, by the way, that story, Jennifer, is also online. Will be in our print edition on Saturday. I know I keep repeating that, but I can't emphasize enough that when these big stories happen, we don't know when they're going to happen.
So of course
Sometimes they don't happen exactly in time for our print edition because, we got to do some work to get that ready and we have deadlines. But with our website, that we've really juiced up, we've got a new platform and everything. We are really committed to placing these stories out there just as soon as we can. And when you are a print subscriber, you automatically have access to this digital, all these digital stories as well.
I'll put my face on it. Here. Very good, buddy.
So,
Yeah, sometimes the news just doesn't work with you on releasing things properly,
no,
does
and,
it?
no, and there's no reason not to post those stories, especially when there's great public interest in it
Yeah.
or an element where the word really needs to get out. So anyway.
Well, you do a
That's the
fantastic
end of the
job, so-
commercial, but I just cannot emphasize that as much because we first had a website in 2007. It's continued to evolve, and with the way the technology is in the world, the way people are now with computers and phones, and they're more prone to use those than they are to pick up a printed newspaper. This is a way for you to get your news, and you'll actually be ahead of the game.
Exactly.
In many instances.
Dylan, there's the code if you need it.
All right, another story that we want to talk about is out of Vinton County, and I want to give you this carefully. I don't want to alarm anybody, but the Vinton County Health Department put out a post on their Facebook. They are concerned about the danger of measles. Now, there
What?
are measles. I know that's a
Measles?
childhood disease, and we don't hear much about it. There's a
Yeah.
vaccine and everything. I had the measles. Did you have the measles?
No.
You didn't have the measles. Okay.
You really did?
Oh yeah, there were the 3-day measles and the 13-day measles, and there was mumps. I never got the mumps.
Measles,
But
mumps,
but
and
it was very
something
common.
else.
It was very common, but they had the vaccines then, and of course now it's routine. You automatically get them. You just don't get them because you want them. I mean, it's part of
it's
that.
just like a
part
baby.
of that
when you're a
child-
baby thing,
Yeah, it's
you
part of
get
that childhood thing. You get them all.
polio
Well,
and all that stuff.
there's some cases up in Franklin County, and there was one person in Vinton County who was reportedly exposed to one of those cases in Franklin County, and they're monitoring that. That person who is in or from Vinton County is not sick. That person does not have the measles, but as a result, the Vinton County Health Department wanted to put out the information about, the potential threat of measles, because we know how these diseases are. They can spread real quickly, and, they're just trying to be proactive. According to the Vinton County Health Department, as of December the 5th, that was Monday, there are 56 cases of measles, including 20 hospitalizations.
Wow.
So,
Really?
yeah, and then they had that one exposure involving a Vinton County person. They say measles is acute, highly contagious respiratory disease caused by a virus. It is spread by coughing, talking, or being in the same room with someone who has the measles. Initial symptoms include a high fever, cough, runny nose, and watery eyes, followed by a rash. That's when you know for sure it's the measles.
Sure.
That typically spreads from the head to the rest of the body.
Ugh.
It takes 8 to 12 days from exposure to the first symptom, so there's a lag there.
Oh my.
And there's usually a fever involved. The measles rash usually appears 2 to 3 days after the fever begins. So, you could have the measles and they make it sound like it's highly infectious, compared
So-
to some of the other diseases.
Here's the deal. If you've been, do we all need to go get vaccinated again?
Well,
or is
if-
this
if-
for
well-
people that haven't been vaccinated?
They didn't have that in this story. My guess, their message is to anybody who has not been vaccinated.
Okay.
Maybe some adults, maybe they don't know whether they were vaccinated when they were younger.
Right. You
Does
just
the-
assume that you were,
Does a vaccination
you know.
last forever? Remember, on COVID-19, they weren't sure, so we keep getting new COVID shots and booster shots and like
Yeah.
that. And flu shots, they're different every year because
Right,
of strains
right.
of the flu. But according to the health department, measles can be prevented with the vaccine. The vaccine protects against three diseases, actually: measles, mumps, and rubella. And rubella, if I'm not mistaken, is another form of measles.
Okay.
Children are recommended to receive 2 doses, starting with the first dose at 12 through 15 months and a second one at ages 4 through 6. Teens and adults are considered up to date on their MMR vaccination if they've had both doses. So I guess
Okay,
they
so
do
if
have.
you had it as a baby, then
If you had both now, not just the baby, but the ages 4 to 6.
okay.
If that's the booster shot, that's what you call it. So you can get a vaccine, this MMR vaccine, at the Vinton County Health Department during regular vaccine clinic hours, Mondays from 2 to 4 p.m. and Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to noon. And of course, you can do it at a doctor's or pediatrician's office
Sure.
as well. But, the flu is just running rampant, right? We know
Oh,
that.
it's crazy
I
right
think there's
now.
still some COVID cases as well out there.
Yeah.
And now, have to be at least concerned about measles because there are cases of the measles around.
Okay, that's scary. So if you don't know whether you've been vaccinated, I assume that it's okay to go ahead and get vaccinated again.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to assume that, if your mom took you to the doctor when you were young or whatever, and you had all your vaccines, that you were vaccinated properly.
Right, exactly.
But
All right, well, we made it through the deer gun season, or at least the week-long deer gun season.
Okay.
There is going to be another weekend, December 17th and 18th, a 2-day deal where you can still shoot a deer with a gun.
okay.
But you ask how successful was the gun season? It was successful in that there were more deer harvested is the word we use.
Harvested.
No,
We don't say murdered.
no. Then the 3-year average, annual average of the last 3 years. That's how the High Division of Wildlife likes to give the stats when they do comparisons, because there can be anomalies on some of these years because of weather or whatever.
Sure,
So
right.
it can look like, oh no, what's going on here? So they did the 3-year average. But in the state of Ohio, the numbers were up. As a matter, if you wonder how many deer were killed last week, it was 70,381 statewide. The 3-year average for 19, 20, and 21 was 68,534. In Jackson County, the deer harvest was also up. There were 1,135 deer in Jackson County taken last week or during the deer gun season.
Isn't it crazy that there's that many deer out there in a week that could be?
Yeah, 1,135 were killed, and I believe there's a lot left over.
Well,
And-
or along the highway.
Right, and 970 was the average of the previous 3 years
Oh,
in Jackson
wow.
County. So you're talking up more than 10% there.
Sure.
All right, in Vinton County, though, it went the other way. In Vinton County, they checked 786 deer on the first week of the deer gun season. The 3-year average for Vinton County before that was 892, so it's down quite a bit.
Interesting.
So interesting. I don't exactly know what that is, whether that's hunting pressure, whether that's the number of deer or whatever. But one of the big things is that statewide, there are more deer in more places now. And some of the hunters, you used to go to the grocery store and see these hunters come in on the weekend before gun season, and you saw them go through the line at the grocery stores
Yeah.
with all their camping supplies. They came from Dayton, Columbus, or whatever.
course.
They don't have to drive that far anymore.
They've got them in their
Many of them.
backyards now, right?
Exactly. And speaking of that, I saw a few across Star Street, just a block from my house.
Smart deer if they stay in town.
Right, exactly.
A little safer.
All right. We also want to talk about a couple other things, Jennifer. We want to talk about the Creative x6 display at the Marquet Cultural Arts Center. And at the Marquet Cultural Arts Center, that exhibit started last Thursday, and with an opening night reception. That's usually how they do it, first Thursday of the month. That exhibit will stay on display through the month of December, and they call it the Creative x6 display because there's 6 female artists that are involved in it. Six artists who have their artwork on display there, and those ladies are Judy Bond, Betsy Parker, Bev Riley, Judy Summers, Angie Terry, and Judy Wellbacher. And there they are right there.
Yep.
That's their picture there. From left to right, they are Betsy Parker, Angie Terry, Judy Wellbacher, Judy Bond, Judy Summers, and Bev Riley. And Red Thompson Jr. was there for the opening night reception. And the variety is A to Z, as you might guess, when you have 6 different artists involved there.
I was able to walk through the other day and saw it. And yes, there is a huge variety of art there.
Right.
So
And whenever you go to the Marquet, during their open gallery hours, or if you're in there for another event, it's absolutely free. To see
yes.
this work.
100%.
Okay, well, another event that happened at the Marquet was on the evening of November the 30th, and we want to give a salute, tip of the cap to our own Rodney Porterhouse Tomlin.
Hey, he's in here.
Hey, there he is. Well, I tell you what you did. You did something highly creative and enterprising, and it was called the Homegrown Happy Hour.
Yes.
And of course, the folks who were in on that, who attended it live, it was out at Rowdy's Smokehouse on Thursday evenings in December live.
Yep.
It was also on the radio. It was later telecast and on podcasts and everything. And they had a final viewing of the Homegrown Happy Hour,
Yeah.
a compilation of some of the best moments of all 4 of those concerts from performers at the Marquee on the evening of Wednesday, November the 30th.
Yeah, and it was super cute.
Right.
Yeah.
It was very nice. And Rodney, better known as Porterhouse,
Hey,
he has
that hat on today.
There he is. Yeah, he was the creator of this. Ben Davis Jr., who we love, does a great job
Yes.
singing, did a great job as the host, and it really gave a platform for some of these singers, some from here, some from not here.
That's right.
To strut their stuff out there through
Yeah.
a live audience, and then get extra exposure through the platforms through Total Media. So it was a great in-house thing.
Yeah,
and
good
it would,
job,
It would
Porterhouse.
not have happened if it wasn't for Rodney Tomlin.
We had a lot of help. It was a great team.
It was a good team.
It
You're
was-
right.
It was outstanding.
A lot of
we
people.
want to give him a
involved.
salute and everybody involved in
Yes.
that. And the creative juices were flowing. That was for
Yes,
sure.
absolutely. James really pulled it all together.
Yeah,
Right.
James did a great
James
job as
Hamilton,
well.
our digital marketing manager, on the video end, he just does tremendous work. And the singers, I don't know whether you saw all of them or not, but they were very talented. I had to cover different things during the week on those Thursdays, but I did get to one of them, and I really enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
That was when Wes Shipp sang.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
That's good.
I think, Jennifer, that if you get to be 100 years old, you're a special person.
I think so.
And so in Saturday's paper, we hope, it hadn't happened yet, but my plan is we're going to have a story about Jackson County's latest sanitarian. That is a person who has reached the age of 100, and that is Bernadine Wilson. Bernadine,
Oh, look at how cute.
there she is with her birthday
Love
cake.
that.
Happy birthday, Mom. Her 3 children, who some people may know because they grew up here. Pamela Fetterspiel, she lives in Louisville now, I think. Hugh Wilson Jr. and Randall Wilson. Know all those kids. Didn't know Pam, but I got to know Pam on the phone a little bit when we
Yeah.
arranged this story. But her mom was like Rosie the Riveter in World War II. She had one of those jobs. That was notable. She was born on November 28th, 1922, and is the oldest of 3 sisters. And she attended a one-room schoolhouse in the Richmondale area growing up. And
Aw.
then they moved this way, and she started with Jackson High School in grade 7 and graduated in the Jackson High School class of 1940. And just an amazing lady who still really enjoys life, able to do a lot of things, has 3 adoring children, and we will have her story and a couple photos hopefully in our Saturday edition.
That's great.
All right. We want to always recognize people who hit significant milestones like, 100 years of living.
Like living 100
Well,
years.
how
Yeah.
about working somewhere for 50 years? In that category is Greg Beckner. Greg Beckner
Really?
of Jerry's Do It Center. That's right. They had a Christmas dinner party on Sunday, December 4th at the Wellston American Legion Post. And in that party, they honored Greg Beckner for his 50 years of
Aw.
service to Jerry's Do It Center. There is Greg on the right, and with him is Jerry Bopst, who is the longtime owner of Jerry's Do It Center. And of course, Jerry's Do It Center located on State Route 327, just on the south end of Wellston. A lot of
Yep.
things in that store, and Greg has been, a leading figure in that store for a long time. And you can see he was very happy there to get that
Aw,
recognition
love that.
at the Christmas party. So congratulations to Greg Beckner for his 50 years with Jerry's Do It Center. And before that, it was Wellston Hardware. I think it was Wellston Hardware, and it became Jerry's Do It Center.
Nice.
And the Wellston Hardware, if I'm remembering right, was downtown. So
Okay.
it was kind of a transition for an old-fashioned hardware store becoming a modern Do It Center in a new location. All right, we had all that ho-ho stuff last week, but it's not over. Tonight is the Mayu Brown Funeral Home Christmas cheer from yesteryear.
It is.
Right,
We were just talking about that
we
this
saw
morning.
it getting set up, but Jason Brown and his family and the staff, they do this as a Christmas gift to the community. You can imagine, they're busy at the funeral home anyway.
Yes.
But you can imagine that there is a lot of work involved in that, a lot of expense involved in that. They have those
lot.
long lines for the horse and carriage rides.
It is
Those
crazy.
are free. You know what they
So
cost if you go.
I have a message from Jeremiah Shaver.
Okay.
Justin Mayhew Brown Funeral Home has announced that the horse and carriage service for tonight's event is unable to attend.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
no.
It's still set for 4 to 8 tonight. Events happening. Trolley ride. Live. I don't know how to say that. Nativity.
Yeah, nativity.
Memorial Lumierinous. Memorial ornaments. Hot cocoa and candy canes.
Okay.
Flyer performances and Remembrance Tree.
But they'll still have the trolley rides then. Is that what it said?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, the horse and carriage rides were popular, but
Yeah.
that's not the only thing they
No,
have.
not at all.
They have a lot of singing groups from this high school there. They always have a live nativity scene. They have the memorial tree inside the funeral home,
Yes.
where there is, I think, an ornament placed for each person, each family who lost a loved one during that year. And you get to take the ornament, I believe. That's the way it's worked in the past.
Yep.
And as we said, they'll have some hot cocoa there as well, and the trolley rides, and so it will still be a very nice event. for
It
sure.
will be. And don't forget, or maybe this is in your news story as well, that tonight is also the cookie walk in downtown Jackson.
Right, exactly.
So, you can visit, if you have a ticket now,
Right.
you visit the downtown businesses and.
Right. I think if you go on Facebook, maybe under the Downtown Association or Michael's Ice Cream, you can see a map
Yes.
of the places where they're going to do the cookie walk.
Yeah.
But the tickets have sold out for that. You had to.
People are upset they couldn't give them tickets.
You had to get those in advance. And by the way, Dylan was telling us about that the trolley rides will still be there. If you want to know where they're going to Manpower Park. So see, you have the opportunity to go to the Mayhew Brown Christmas Cheer from yesteryear, see all there is and hear all there is there. And then they'll take you out to Manpower Park and you can walk and see the trees and they'll
That's
bring
right.
you back.
And then come back.
Exactly.
It's great.
So that is a great service right there. But as far as the downtown cookie walk, the Mayhew Brown Funeral Home Christmas Cheer from yesteryear is from 4 p.m. until
Yeah.
8 p.m.
And
So
thanks to Jason Shelley and their family
Yes,
for that.
Exactly. That is a tremendous undertaking. The cookie walk, they scheduled this on purpose in conjunction with the
Yes.
Mayhew because they knew that people would be downtown. 4 to 7 p.m. And tickets are no longer available, so it's too late for that. But if you do have a ticket, it's from 4 to 7 p.m. and there are, it looked like on the map I saw this morning, multiple places
Oh, yeah.
to stop to get a cookie. It's like a trick or treat with home baked cookies, I'm guessing,
Yep.
right? So anyway, that is a great opportunity to go downtown. And then, while you're there, you obviously can see some of the places of business, go in and say hello, maybe get some ideas for Christmas shopping even. All right.
Love that.
Another announcement that we want to make that involves Christmas charity, is that the Wellston American Legion is no longer taking names for their Christmas food box project. They announced nearly a month ago that they would start taking names for what has been a long-time charity project, giving Christmas food boxes to needy families in not just the Wellston area, but in our whole area. And they were going to take names up until December the 9th, until they reached 250. Well, they reached 250 earlier in the week, so they can't
wow.
they can't go any further. That
Okay.
is as far as they can go, as much as they can give. So you can see that it is a major project where they help a
Yes.
lot. I know they usually have school groups in from Wellston High School to help with packing the boxes. That'll probably be happening here in the next week or so. And then those food boxes will be distributed on Saturday, December 17th at the American Legion Post in Wellston. That's at 1001 South Pennsylvania Avenue. And that project, like the Mayhew Brown Funeral Home project, Christmas Cheer from yesteryear, is a major undertaking, major expense. American Legion, I think, gets some donations and like that. They need to, but that is still a lot of work and a commitment. I'm sure they put some of the Post's own money into that to help others.
Okay.
Also, if you missed Santa Claus last Saturday, and remember he was really busy in all 4 communities, Jackson, Wellston, Oak Hill, and MacArthur. Santa Claus.
He was everywhere.
Santa Claus, the Jackson Firefighters Association has made arrangements for Santa Claus to make multiple appearances the rest of the month at Santa's house, which is now stationed out at Manpower Park.
Okay.
On the back side of the park there. But this weekend, for instance, Santa Claus will be at Santa's house in Manpower Park from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. on both Friday and Sunday evenings, and then on Saturday from 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. So Friday and Sunday evenings, 5 to 7, and then Saturday afternoon and evening from 3 to 6. And that schedule will be repeated the next weekend as well.
Okay.
And then the final day will be Friday, December 23rd, which, if you haven't got your order in by then, you better show up.
That's right.
All right. And I'll tell you that.
You're losing time, folks.
That's a big commitment by the firefighters to book Santa that much this close to Christmas.
Goodness.
Because
Yes.
he's got a lot to do.
He's busy.
All right. Speaking of Santa, the Wellston Lions Club, they are old veterans at getting Santa on their float.
Yes, they are.
And they are already making the rounds on some of the evenings in Wellston. They say, the Legion says, go to the Wellston Lions Club, not Wellston Legion. A lot of good groups in Wellston. The Lions Club says go to their Facebook page to see the schedule for where they're going to be in Wellston. There are certain places they can't go. Weather sometimes will restrict them if it's raining. But they're later going to be in other communities because they share Santa with the nearby communities.
They do. That's so nice.
It is. Hamden next Monday on December the 12th at 6 p.m. And then in Jackson on both Sunday evening, December 18th, and Monday, December the 19th. And then the next day, December the 20th, they'll be at Colton, Glenroy, and then Fairview Terrace, which is a big apartment complex on the south side of Wellston. So all that coming. They will post information. This is the schedule that we have. We printed it. We posted it. But they also post their schedule as they can on their Facebook page. And they have to be flexible because of the weather. All right. Also, do not forget, Jennifer, that there's 2 more opportunities to see Kid Kringle at the Marquee.
That's right.
Oh,
Dylan.
right. It debuted last weekend, on Saturday and Sunday, and it's going to be back this weekend, Saturday, December 10th at 7 p.m. and Sunday, December 11th at 3 p.m. So 2 more chances. I know the kids were in here. What great costumes.
Yes, they're wonderful.
And, once again, I know we're throwing around a lot of salutes. What about Cindy Stifler and what she did to make this happen for the Apple City Players and their children's program component?
Yep.
I mean, she wrote the play. She came up with an idea to get things sponsored, the costumes. She got the support. I know Nia's in on this.
Yep.
She got the support to get all the kids in free.
Yep.
They still can do that. Now, you got to reserve because they got to have some kind of management plan.
That's correct.
Did you have a good crowd last weekend, Dylan?
Yeah, we did. On Saturday, it wasn't too big because there was also the parade and the fireworks
Right.
and everything. And the following day, we had a good crowd.
Okay.
Very good.
So, I mean, if you're a kid, getting free to
You get
a
in
live
free.
performance at the Marquee.
Yeah.
And it's a fun play, too, with
yeah,
kids.
exactly.
I mean, you want to be there. Adults can go too. It'll cost you $15, but that shouldn't keep you from going.
Nope.
Because and I think that's about an hour long, Dylan, the play.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. All right. Speaking of Christmas, this weekend, H&R Block of Wellston is doing a free service for the community. This is in Wellston, H&R Block in Wellston. They call it their Christmas Extravaganza. It will be this Saturday from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at its location, 706 South Pennsylvania Avenue. If you're a kid and you show up, you'll get a picture with Santa. You get to write a letter to him, and you'll be given a cookie to decorate. And this event is all free.
Wow.
How about that?
Awesome.
All right, and don't forget, now they haven't told us they're out. I don't believe they're out because they had so much candy. The Jackson County Women's Club's candy shop remains open. It's been open for not quite a month, but it's been open since November the 14th.
Yep.
And remember, if you've forgotten or you haven't noticed, it's in a new location. It's by Papa John's out there, just past Jackson Heights, the entrance to Jackson Heights, next to Jackson, what do they call that? Jackson Food Express or something? The restaurant out there that used to be
I don't know.
Gillespie's?
Just Papa John's.
Okay, yeah, it's next to Papa John's, in between.
It's where the bread
in that
place
building that's
was.
been vacant. And
Yeah.
they were in the front part of the building, and they have all types of candy, including sugar-free candy.
Yes.
and they promise that it will be the best deal you're going to get on candy because they cut out the middleman. They don't take any profit for themselves. They don't pay anybody to be there. What proceeds they do have goes back into their community projects. The Jackson
That's right.
County Women's Club, this is the successor organization of the Jackson Linus Club.
Yes.
All
And
right.
it is cash only, to let you know.
Yes, cash only. And do not forget also, we're deep into basketball season now. All the teams are playing. Jackson County Broadcasting, all 4 of its stations do broadcast the local sports teams. This is boys and girls basketball both. Jackson High School, Vinton County High School, Oak Hill High School, and Wellston High School. All those games, the boys' games, all the boys' home games are on the air. Most of the girls' games are on the air. I believe we hit the road through a couple of the boys' games too. Altogether, each school gets 20 live broadcasts, not including the tournament. We'll be with the teams wherever they go once they hit the tournament.
Yep.
So
There you
there
go.
you go.
That's a lot of news, Pete.
Yes, it is.
Woohoo. Good job. All right. Well, is there anything else? Thank you, Dylan, for getting, and Rodney for getting our camera situation fixed up. We're having camera woes. There's gremlins in here.
Right. Well, they're around. We got
Especially
elves and
this
we got
time of the year.
elves and gremlins.
Yep, that's right. That's right. All right. Well, Pete, thank you so much for spending your morning with us. And we will be right back here tomorrow. So have a great day. And thank you for watching. And we'll see you then.
All right. Thank you very much.
Bye, everybody.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website.
thetelegramnews.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Vinton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, thetelegramnews.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
thetelegramnews.com.
Subscribe today at thetelegramnews.com.
Check it out.